Well, hello there. This is Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage. Thank you so much for joining me. I am a little toasty. It's warm, but it's actually really nice. Today is much cooler than it was. We had, oh boy, we had some really good rainstorms and thunderstorms. And there was one night Jeff slept less than I do. He doesn't sleep as good as I do. I sleep really, really good. So if I am awakened by a storm, I know it's pretty strong. I don't know if you have seen the Daffy Duck cartoon on Facebook yet, but that was so funny. I would have enjoyed it in the Tri-Cities, but here in Missouri, all the more, because it's like 4 captions, and each one shows him sleeping in bed. Daffy Duck is sound asleep, and then in one is, I don't remember the first one. The second one is tornado. He's asleep in all of these. The other one is home invasion. He stays asleep. The last one is the fan stops. And of course he's wide awake because I don't know about you, but we always have a little fan going, and it's mostly for noise. It's just that white noise. So I could totally relate to that. But the tornado thing, it's true. You do kind of just get used to hearing a lot of sound going on out there, even though we've never been in a tornado. I think in a real tornado, you might not wake up, and that wouldn't be good. That means something happened to you. All right, we are in the middle, can you believe it, of this bundle sale. Now, I have not gotten the news out to everybody because I've kind of been distracted. We've got a lot of things going on right now, but this is what I'm using today, Country Birdhouse. The card I'm going to make, you're going to really like this one. I showed it in my newsletter, but I did not reveal the cover because it's just the birdhouse pretty much, but it has this wonderful dotted embossing folder. It's a spiral thing, but it's really cool. And then this is actually a little easel card. It sits up there, and it's awfully cute. And then I have lots of room to write in it, because sometimes an easel card doesn't leave you with a lot of writing room, and this one does. So I've got like tons of room down here for a quick little greeting, and then I have lots of other room on the inside. And I've been having some fun making these easel cards a little bit different here and there, and because they're super simple, and the birdhouse just sort of has to sit up. It can't just lay there. I don't know why I think that, but I just do. So I've been doing things with that birdhouse and having a great time with it, but the easel has been super fun. So we will talk about the bundle sale as we go, but please stick around and share and like my video. I appreciate it very much. Comment on it, and then I'll know where you're from, what you're doing. I see we've got some new bike riders out there, little kids. Sweet. I've been kind of like the only bike rider on our street, and it's nice to see that there's some other kids out there. I mean, there's some little kids, little tots up there, but I'm not talking about them because there's too little to go far from their house. They're not going to be coming all the way down here to the end of the street. Why is there it is. I was like, seriously, you've got to be kidding. Why is my internet's been really acting up? So I wouldn't have been surprised if it was, but it's not. It's fine. Let me see what you see. I think actually you see everything pretty good. And there. All right, so here is the number for this Country Birdhouse. Now I guess you can even see it over here. I'll leave it over here. You are going to want to purchase the bundle during June. June 30th is when this sale ends, and believe me, you don't want to miss it, because you already, on this one, you are already going to get a 10% discount if you're buying it as a bundle instead of just buying the bundle. Let me explain. There's a suite of products, which includes the stamps, the dies, the paper, some ribbon, an embossing folder, the eyelet one, not the one we're using, and they're all really neat. I would buy the suite a different month, but on this month, you just want to buy this bundle. The bundle is a stamp and die set. And you, right now, for just this month, are getting an extra 10% off of every bundle that's included in the bundle sale. So if you go to Stampin' Up! And look under bundle sale, I think it says that, then you will see what I'm talking about. Because it'll come up, all the bundles that are eligible for the extra 10% will come up. Something just fell out of my hair and I was outside, so... Oh, and a whole bunch fell out. I probably had bugs in my hair. Sometimes I do. I hope not. Wow, that happens sometimes. Okay, so the other card we're going to do today, if I get to it, I don't know if I'll have time, is this cute little, this little pocket. I like having little pocket cards. So I made a couple of different versions of it. I made one like this that's just the pocket. Okay, and then I thought, well, you know what, you can also do a pocket on just a regular card, and then that way you have more room to write. So if you want to just have a nice little bookmark kind of thing or something, you know, that there. Like this one, I used my blessings. I've been using that Unbounded Love stamps. It has all kinds of sentiments. It has love, hope, and faith on it. Really nice, and then I could put a Bible verse on here, and then they'd have that, you know, a nice little Bible verse. And I've got welcome because we have new neighbors, so I'm anticipating having a new neighbor that I need to give this to. And then if you are sending it to family, then you've got room to write. So I kind of did it two ways. And so that's that, all right? And then the other thing that I may be using today, I've been using it a lot, is this Spotlight on Nature, these dies. They are really nice. So I have one cut out and ready to go. If I need to use it, then I will. The other thing is this embossing folder. Now, we are going to use this embossing folder. You can see it's quite large, much larger than my card. And I want this circle part to be kind of on the upper side of this card. You know, before we even get started too much, I want to talk to you about something that I get a lot of questions about. And they aren't really in the form of a question. So it's not like I feel like I've answered this question. And you probably don't even have this question. But if you do, listen. And it's, how do I case, which is copy and share everything. Okay, that's Stampin' Up's own little, that I don't think is copyrighted or anything, but it's their acronym that they have come up with us demonstrators to feel free to copy other demonstrators' stuff. So when I see a card, I don't mind copying it because I've been given permission to do it. And it's nice to give them the credit. When it's something that I have copied from someone, I try to give them the credit. A lot of times I forget who it is just because I've been doing this a long time and it might be something I saw 10 years ago and I have no clue, you know, who it is. But if it's somebody that I know who it is, then I'm very happy to share that information. So anyhow, my internet's freezing because I know Jeff is probably using it, and hopefully it'll shape itself up on the computer. I'm sure you're fine on the phone. So anyhow, what I'm getting to is that I get a lot of people who say, well, I can't just look at a card and copy it. And I'm going to say, yes, you can. You definitely can. You are every bit as smart as me and smarter. I know that. Knowing my own intellect, I can honestly say you are just as smart and probably smarter than me. Now, for this card, I'm going to look at it and determine for myself. If I saw this card like this, and it wasn't opened, I would not know whether this was a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of paper or 4 1/4 by 11. But usually people show you enough of the card that you can see how it opens. And then you're gonna know, oh, okay, she cut that probably 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, so that's where you start. Which direction is the card? And a lot of times when I make a card from someone else, I don't cut it in exactly the same direction they did. I might want to change it and do it a little different. So the whichever way you want it to open is purely your design. You can change it to make it however you want. And a lot of times if I'm doing I call this a portrait card because it's taller than it is wide. And I call this a horizontal card because it's wider. And I know that's simple, probably sounds very simplified to you, but I'm just kind of giving you a peek into how my brain functions. So I cut this card. This is one that I came up with on my own, although I'm going to just say I'm not very original, so it's likely that someone did it many, many times before I did. Very likely. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's a United States standard card. And being in Springfield, Missouri, we're doing standard card sizes. So 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And then I want to emboss this because I do not need to do a whole lot of extra stuff. This is a very simple card, easy to do, but I do want this to be kind of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably turn this into the front of the card, and I'm going to kind of stick it in here so that I can see where this circle is. And I want it kind of on the side, but I want to see enough of other things too. Okay, so that is going to be going into the embossing feed like this. Now I can see that my line, my fold line is here, and so I don't really want to go too far over that. I'm going to just eyeball it. That's about... looking to me to be about, well, I'll have to turn it this way to see where it is. It's about 2 inches. It's about 2 inches, but it can be approximate. I actually didn't do it as far on this one. I just did it close to that. And this color, by the way, is Calypso Coral. I was going to do Flirty Flamingo today because that's one of my favorites. I use that one a lot, but I'll just I happen to pull out Calypso Coral. So we'll just stick with Calypso Coral. It's a really happy, bright color, but I might do something different than a yellow birdhouse. I'm not sure on that. Okay, so we're going to stick your embossing folders if you are able to. Sometimes because of the size and all you can. This is pretty big. It has to go in this way. But try to put the spine of it there. And then I'm going to kind of see on where I want to stop is kind of like right here where this little embossing plate is, the image of it. And I should be able to see that even through this blue plate. And then I'm going to know pretty close where to stop and not go any further. And then if I don't jiggle it too much when I open it, if I have to do it a bit more, I can. So I can kind of peek and see. I did. I went far enough. Excellent. So I actually went a little too far, but that is fairly easy to smooth out. I didn't go too terribly far, and it's looking pretty good. Now, I love this embossing folder. This is a really nice one. You're going to love that one. So you do want that one. Remember, anytime you're ordering, make sure you always order with a friend to get to $150 worth, or order on your own, $150 more or more, and then you get your Stampin' Rewards. Otherwise, you're just kind of like leaving money on the table in a sense. So you don't want to do that. All right. What am I doing next? So let's look. Now, normally if I have a ribbon, I want to make sure I've applied the ribbon where I want it. And in this case, I've got like an extra piece of cardstock inside glued to the back so that my ribbon can go on it. And it's going to make sure that this flap is nice and solid and secure. It's a fold at the top. There's no weird glue, just gluing it on or anything. So we're going to go ahead and use this other piece to create that inner easel part. So let's go ahead. Remember, it's 4 1/4 by 11. So we'll score it again at 5 1/2. But I don't want it to be as big as this other card because it's going to go inside, right? So I am going to just trim off. We're going to trim off a 1/4 inch on the bottom. And now what I want to do is create just this piece here that's going to create my little easel. And I don't need a whole lot of anything there. I'm going to go ahead and shorten just the top of it a little because I do want it to be a little shorter than the bottom that's going to get glued onto the inside. And I only need the width of my birdhouse. Now when you look at a card that's closed, like mine's a little bit here, let's get this one so I can talk about this. When you're looking at a card to figure out how to create it yourself, you can generally assume that it is a standard sized card. And one way to judge that is just by looking at the stamp itself. If you have the stamp, you can't do this unless you have the stamp. But if you have the stamp, you kind of know how big it is. Just take your finger and look at it and then judge. Oh, okay, that is a standard size card because that's about what that would fit. If the card's much bigger, you'll be able to see. And there's generally some card sizes. You can go on Pinterest. You can find a poster that gives a whole bunch of card sizes that are general. So you can figure out that. And then when it comes to layering, almost always, with a few exceptions, people generally leave 1/8 of an inch on all sides. So that means everything that's layered up on it is going to be 1/4 of an inch smaller on all the 4 sides because you, or on 2 sides. So it's going to be 1/8 on this side, but with the 2 together, it's 1/4 smaller. And that probably didn't make sense, but let me just tell you, if I wanted to layer this like right on top, I would want to take off another 1/4, and then when I shifted it, that would give me 1/8 of a border on each side. Okay, so 1/4 of an inch smaller for any layer that comes up. So this was layered up. I did it as a rectangle and then I cut the triangle. So when we get to this, if we do, you'll see how that works. But when you see layers, just think what's on the bottom, what's next, what's next. Things that you can see on the top were added last. Okay? So you just have to, it's similar to when you're trying to color things. Look and see what's the background, what's in the background, what you have to layer first. All right, so our little bird, we're gonna get the bird stamp out. I'm gonna lay it right on here and I can see, wow, it's pretty big. But I just need my little attachment part to be as wide as the narrowest part of this birdhouse. And by putting it on my measurement grid, let me put it like this, because here's my, well, I'll just use my ruler. It'd probably be easier to see. I can see that it is 1.5 inches. Okay, so I know I just want this to be 1.5 inches, and this is 4 1/4. I also don't want this to be 4 1/4 because that would make it too wide. This is 4 1/4. So anything inside it, I want it to be, what? 1/4 less, right? So it's going to be 4 inches across. So let's go ahead and just make this 1/4 cut off. And now we have a 4-inch wide piece by, this should be 5 1/4, and it is. And then my front piece is just 5 inches because of all the little trims I've done. And I just need this to be 1.5 inches, and it just kind of needs to be in the center. And if we've got 4 inches and I want 1.5 out, well, that's only leaving me 1, 2.5 inches to spare on each side. So that would be 1.25. So I'm going to come in 1.25 on this side, 1 1/4, and I'm going to trim this 1 1/4. I'm going to actually not trim it yet. I have trouble with my measurements. If you've watched me any time at all, you know, she better be sure on this. She has some trouble with her measurements. We're going to mark the 1 1/4, and then I'm going to come on this side and mark 1 1/4. And I'm using the measurement on this. This is why I like these cutting boards I've got on both sides of my cutting. And then I'm going to measure this and see if it's wide enough. And it is 1.5 inches. So that was actually accurate. But because my math skills are weak, I usually double check things. And then I also always make a template if it's something I'm going to want to make again. Then I don't have to ever mess with it again. This is going to be my little flap, so I don't want to cut past my fold. And I'm going to double check to make sure I actually mark the front and not the back. Good, good, I did. I marked the front. So I'm going to cut all the way up to this fold. So I'm going to put my cutting blade right on this fold and score down, and then again where my line is, which is 1 1/4 from this outer right edge or left edge, depending on which way you're looking. And now we've got this flap. And this flap is going to get the easel score line on it, but I need to trim these off. So I'm going to use my scissors to do that rather than my cutting blade, because I'm afraid I might get carried away and cut too much off. I'm going to go just on the other side of that fold so that you don't actually see that this was part of a whole nother card. I'm kind of disguising that. Now for the fold, normally it would be 2.5 inches up from the bottom, but because I've cut so much stuff off, I'm not really sure. And my fold, mine is a lot fatter. I decided I didn't need it that fat, so we're doing a short one on this one, and it's 2 inches. Okay, so take this and put it at your little flap is at 2 inches, and then we're gonna score, and then that is gonna be my little easel arm. Okay, and that is pretty much it for all of the measurements. This is a very simple card. Now before you want to glue this to the inside though, you've got to get your ribbon in there, because you do want something to hold this down. Anything that's kind of puffy on the inside is gonna pop it up. It stays pretty short, but I didn't want to add a lot of flowers and frou-frou. I just wanted a nice simple ribbon. So you think about what colors you want. I already know what color I'm gonna do. I've done yellow. I'm not gonna do yellow. I want to do navy. Navy with this is really, really pretty. So let's think about what other coordinating color I might want to do with navy, because I've already got some birdhouse things done here. We're going to use that little robin that I've already colored, and I'm going to use the navy roof, and I've got a navy trim piece for my birdhouse, and I've got 2 trays. And I might even use both. No, I don't want to use 2 trays, because I forgot. I need a birdhouse on the inside too. We're doing 2 birdhouses, one on the inside and one on the outside. So, yeah, I'm looking at that and thinking, I don't know, maybe I don't want to do that. I might want to do, I'm going to get do I have my color coach? I do. Let's look here. No, I don't have it handy. Rats. The color coach is actually really helpful if you have it handy, but I don't see it handy. And right at the moment, I'm not thinking clearly about what color I want with my Calypso Coral. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy out. And, well, I'm thinking what color I want to do. I think I'm going to do yellow still. I don't know. I don't really want to do yellow, but I do like Night of Navy with this really well. And I don't like anything else with it. I like this and nothing else. Let's look at Flirty Flamingo. Sometimes it can be a nice sort of extra foil color. Or how about Petal Pink? Petal Pink is really good too. Let's try that. Ah, Petal Pink, I think I like you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do Petal Pink. In fact, that's what I did for the roof. What a ding dong. Petal Pink. There's my Stampin' Up! Package. Yay. So Petal Pink and then Flirty Flamingo. And I colored this instead of just doing the cardstock that I'm probably going to do today. We'll see. I'll think about it. I kind of wanted shading and all, and that's why I did that. Right now I'm thinking color. So we want a, I only wanted to see what color am I doing. We are doing Night of Navy as our background, our little frame. So that's why I need a Night of Navy ribbon. Let's see what we've got. Because I know I've got a lot of Misty Moonlight. Oh, I see something really nice down here that's going to work perfect. This is an old one. Oh, super old. You're going to love this one. You're going to wish you had it. This ribbon came with, oh boy, I don't even remember. This was like a long time ago. But it's absolutely gorgeous. I bought a lot of it so I could have it like forever. It's Night of Navy with this rosy gold edge. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. So we're going to want that underneath this, and then this gets glued on top. Okay? And that was why all that discussion just to find out what I was doing with this ribbon. That is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So when you are copying a card, the other thing that you want to look at is what kinds of stamps you can substitute. Because generally you're not ever going to have all the stuff that the demonstrator who made the card you're trying to copy, you're not going to have all of that stuff. And so it's, you know, just look and see the size of the stamps to see whether you have enough of something that's close to it, if not the actual color. Now, as I'm laying this on here, right now I noticed that my cardstock on this side is faded right here. You probably can't even see it, but the sun was really beating on my cardstock when we first moved into the house where I put it. I, you know, after a year, I realized I gotta move my cardstock. It's fading a lot. But wow, it's not like that on the front, but it sure is on the back. It's kind of cool, actually, but anyway, it's not what you want. Now, you want something to support this, so we'll talk about that later. Right now, I just need to work on the front. So I'm going to look at this and see if I want these on here. And I think I do. Oh yeah, this is going to be super pretty. And then the other thing I'm going to use on this one that I didn't use on the other one is this. I'm going to put, I think, oh, I don't want to cover up my dotted circles. So maybe I won't do that. Let's just grab a piece of white cardstock and stamp the birdhouse. Let's see. We've got, I could cut it out or I can stamp it. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp it. I could stamp it onto the Petal Pink. Should I do that? I'm having a hard time today making some decisions. I'm not sure why. My brain's not functional today, I guess, because I'm just not making decisions very quickly right now. While I think about some things, you can look at my Square Store QR codes on the side. I did add not a class, but I actually added a video because it was one that I've gotten a bunch of questions on. So I figured I'll just add this. And I realized when I was doing that my website did not have very updated class information. So I have updated. Now we need 2 of these. So let's go ahead and just do the 2. And another thing that I'm with this dotted that I really like is using vellum, because your vellum's going to show your embossing through it. So I'm kind of thinking I might actually want to do, let's go like this. I'm afraid I'm going to not give myself enough room there. I might like to do it on vellum. Now, if you use vellum, though, I would recommend strongly embossing your sentiment if you're going to use vellum behind there and put a sentiment on it. We are going to need these birds. And on this set, you get 1 little bird. And so if you want the birds to be talking to each other at all, you're going to have to use the mirror technique to get it. So do you want to learn the mirror technique really fast? I bet you already know it. But if you don't, I've done it many times. You need a silicone sheet. So let me find that. I thought I had it handy. Where are you? Like, you're right here, right? I thought. Aha, there you are. Okay. So you need a silicone sheet. We've had them in a variety of different types. So here's one. I've got a few. I've lost them. I put them all in here because one of these is supposed to help me not actually cut with embossing, but I don't know, I couldn't get it to really work all that well. All right, so what you're going to do to get a mirrored image is you're going to use your silicone sheet. Make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to take my fan off here for a minute because it's toasty in this room with the sun right on me so that it's not blowing right down and drying out my ink instantly. Because you want to take let me grab a scrap of white that I can press things on here easily. Here's a little scrap, so we'll use this. And I'm going to stamp my bird with black onto the silicone sheet, and then I'm going to just press my my cardstock onto it. So like this. We're going to do a few. Okay, so here's one. Get ready. Oh, it didn't impress very well. Let's try that again. Okay, that was a good impression. So that, and then I'm going to press down on here and give it a rub. And then you've got a very nice impression of the bird. Let's do, oops, I only have room really for one more. The trick is to not move your paper, but get pushed down on it really well so that you get a pretty good impression. My paper is probably messy right there. I might do one more. Let me grab another little piece of my cardstock. Let's do another one. Okay, I'm pushing pretty hard on it. Aha, beautiful. And I've even got my other ones kind of come up a little bit too, better than I expected, in fact. So now I've got 3 little reverse Indian type birds. And then this is just going to wipe off with with water. You can just clean
clean that off because that's just our tuxedo black ink. And now we can do some that face the other way. I'll just use, wonder if I can push you on here. I bet you I can. One there. And not really a lot of room here. There's that one. Oh, and I already have one done. But I'm probably, I don't know that I'm going to do that color. But anyway, we'll just make do with that. And then our sentiment. I think I'm going to want to do a sentiment. So let's go ahead and do, I don't know if I'm going to need a bird on the sentiment. So I'll think about that as we go. Let's start assembling, coloring and assembling. All right, and then for your colors, again, now the Stampin' Up! Is going to come out with a color coach. There is a color coach. It's going to be out at some point next year, but I have no idea when. But just be looking for that. We used to have color coaches a long time ago, and we do have ones online, and you can print them out. But this is like a little bit more user-friendly with a spinner, you know. So be looking out for that. All right, let's see. We are going to use the die cuts that I did from Night of Navy for my roof, and for this, and for the tray. I do need to do another one because I've got 2 trays, but not 2 of those, so I'll have to cut those out. And if we do this with that, I do think I want petal pink. And I might want to use the die cut in my petal pink. So I'm going to get or maybe even my Calypso Coral. Let's do that. Let's grab my scrap of Calypso Coral that I've got over here on the side somewhere. There you are. We will cut out that with that. I might even do this. I'm just kind of thinking here as we go, because I'm doing this card just a little different than I did before. So first of all, let's grab petal pink. Let's see what we get. Petal pink. I'm going to grab petal pink and peach pie, and I do want some, I think, Flirty Flamingo. If I can find you. I see Cajun Craze. That's not going to work. There's Calypso Coral. I'll grab it, but that's not what I want. I actually want Flirty Flamingo. Where are you? Maybe you are in with my pinks. Sometimes I put that in pink. Or reds instead of oranges. Flirty Flamingo, you are in with the reds. Because it is a bit more red. So what I'm going to do, because I think Calypso Coral will probably work, but I might end up wanting some Flirty Flamingo. So we'll take light Calypso Coral. And we're going to do both of these exactly the same color. So, oh, that's pretty pale. Let's try the dark Calypso Coral. Perfect. All right, not a lot here. So I'm going to just do a little bit here for the shading on the sides. Just a little bit here. I'm not going to pull down the camera because you're not going to need to see the camera. This is not going to be that. I'm not even going to cut the centers. I'm going to just color them in. So I want the outer part of the hole to be dark.
No, actually, I want the inner part to be dark, and then it's gonna get lighter in the center there. Kind of, I want them both to be that way. We're gonna do that there. So center is gonna be darker, outer is gonna be a little bit darker, and then we'll have it lighter just on the edge there. Okay, hang in there with me. And then this is gonna have a shadow also. You're thinking about light coming down from the top. So, you know, this is an overhang. So there would definitely be shadow here. So this will be darker. And this is going to be darker because it's kind of tucking in down into the tray. And then in general, if you want to just outline things with a darker color, generally that's not bad either. I think our mowers are coming today. I'm so glad it stopped raining so they could come, because man, the rain has made our plants just go nuts. I had to go spray my weeds again today, even though I just did it, because they are growing really good too. But oh man, it looks nice out there. And this is light Calypso coral, and we're gonna go like that. Okay, that's gonna have to go a bit more. And like that. And I think here too. My Calypso coral's wearing out, I can see that. We're gonna just kind of go over the whole thing here, because I'm gonna have to use my Flirty Flamingo anyway. You can see my Calypso coral's giving out the ghost here. It's a ghost of itself. When your nib is doing this and you're not getting a ton of color, you know it's done. It is done. Time for a new pen. So you're seeing me use this one up today. I do have another one in there, I know already. And he's gonna have to come out after today. Because man, you can see, I don't push my nibs like this. This is not how you take care of these pens, but this one's done. It is done. There's still some ink in there, but it is done. Whew. Sad, sad sack. Okay, there we go. That is all I'm going to get out of that. And then let's take our light Flirty Flamingo and see what happens here, because I don't really want to turn this into something too terribly pink. But I really need to blend that edge. That's not dark enough. I'm going to have to find my new, brand new Calypso coral. Gotta find it, because that's just not working. I better have one in here. That would be really bad if I didn't. Especially since I just ordered. I'm not placing another order anytime soon. That is Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo. Oh no! Don't tell me I don't have any Calypso coral. No. I think I don't. And then I was so smart too. I'm sure I had some. That's pineapple. Pumpkin pie. I have a bunch of pumpkin pie. Okay, that is that. I'm going to have to hunt it down. I bet I've got a substitute. So if you run out of Calypso coral, there are other things you can do. Cajun Craze, if you have a pale one, will work. Might work. And then I'm going to grab my pale papaya. We're going to see what we can do. Oh, I'm so disgusted with myself for not knowing I was running out of light Calypso coral. It's like one of my favorite colors. So Cajun Craze, this is the light one. It's pretty dark. I am skeptical about it. Yeah, you're really dark. That is not, and that's the light one.
pale papaya. I think you're gonna be way too pale. You are gonna wash it out, but I don't want to do that. Oh my, what am I going to do? I'm gonna have to do what I don't want to do. I'm going to have to turn this in. This is dark Cajun Craze, so we are gonna have to go super dark here. Dark Cajun Craze. I'm not worrying about going into the lines too much of my birdhouse because, you know, that Night of Navy is gonna cover that anyway. What I'm doing is I'm gonna have to turn this into a very dark Calypso coral. I don't have enough light Calypso coral to do this. Well, this is gonna turn out different, that's for sure. And because this is so dark, I don't want too much of an edge on here. If it wasn't this dark, I could do it. Now, I do have pencils, and I could have used those, but you do get lines more with pencils. So pencils are great when I'm trying to get fur in an animal or clouds, even in the sky. I don't want it on my birdhouse. All right, that's Cajun Craze. This is light Cajun Craze. Let's see what you're doing. You're pretty dark. That's not gonna work. And dark Calypso coral. All right, now we're having to go with all that dark Calypso coral here. Mostly so that this can blend in that edge. Now that I'm doing it this dark, this birdhouse, I think we might put a label behind it because it's gonna be too close to this color. And I did want a contrast, and now there's not gonna really be a contrast. Okay, now when you are blending in your inks like this, don't worry if it looks messy at first. What I'm doing is I'm just working in the edges. And it's not done. It's gonna work in a bit more as I go. So don't panic if you think, it's not working. It's not blending. It looks really bad all the way through here. It does blend in. You just need to use your pens a bit more. Mine's getting a little weak. Even this dark Calypso coral's running out, but it's such a dark color. It's gonna make it through here. But I definitely, when I order Calypso coral, I'm gonna order 2 pen pairs because apparently I'm using it a lot. All right, Calypso coral, the light one, is not gonna do it. So this is the dark one. We're gonna go ahead and use the bullet tip. All right, and we're gonna try to just smear this all over here. And then I'm gonna work it more in here. Okay, so don't panic. Again, it's not smooth. This is partly because I am running out of ink on these. So I'm kind of having to rush the process a bit. Okay, now let's try to smooth this out just a little bit. Okay, and this one. All right, very good.
So the bundle sale, it is 10% off of some bundles, and some bundles are already 10% off. So that means you're getting 20% off. If you are, this is light, right? No, that's dark. Let's get the light Calypso Coral, or not, the light Cajun Craze. No, light was as dark as the dark, right? Yeah, it was way too dark. So we're gonna have to try to make my dark Calypso Coral. You're gonna have to do something here, because I gotta lighten this up a bit. So this one's gonna be quite a bit lighter. It's gonna kind of wash out some of that dark ink that I placed in there. Okay, there we go. And now I want my lighter colors to be on the front, not so much on the edge. So we're gonna just kind of go around the edge here. This will kind of lighten it up a tiny bit. And I don't know what bundles are on sale and which ones aren't. You just have to go and find out, because I just don't really even know. But many of them are, and I do know, because this is a good sale, they're gonna run out. So if there's one that you want, and you want it on sale at this 20% out, like I said, if you're a demonstrator, that's on top of your 20% off. So you're getting 40% off right now on those bundles. You definitely want to be ordering them now. All right, these are extremely dark. I understand that. So you can lighten them up, but you're going to have to be super careful if you are going to try to do that. I would get a pen that you have a lot of. Like my Peach Pie is probably pretty fresh. Even the dark one's going to be super, super pale compared to this. And I am scared. I'm just going to be honest. This is not going to go well, because this is not how I normally would do this. But we're going to try to make a little lighter background here. And this is going to just kind of wash out some of that ink. But you have to be careful, because it'll wash it like a super far away. Until it dries, you can't really tell how much is gone. And so if you do too much, once it dries, if it's too much, then you're going to have to just layer on more color, and it gets darker and darker, and it's harder and harder to figure out. So there you go. You can see what I mean. It's kind of washing it out nice and pale, but if it's too much, it's going to get too much. And it's not going to be super even either. This is not the best way to color, but oh well. This is what you do when your pens run out of ink. You just have to make do. Because I don't want it that dark. It's too dark. Way too dark. I don't like it at all. I'm gonna stop. I'm not enjoying that. Not enjoying it. It is not good. I mean, what can I do to you to make you better? I don't really want to just apply. I have other pens that I can't mention that I could make this work, but I could have, that would have had to have been applied earlier. Peach Pie, I don't like what you're doing. Let's try our Petal Pink. This is dark Petal Pink. Let's see what you do. I don't think you're going to be any better. It's giving an interesting mottled appearance to this birdhouse. That's true. It is interesting, the way Bugs Bunny would say, interesting. That's not a good thing, but there it is. We are going to restamp. I am not going to like that on there, although it's actually not too horrible. You know, if we put flowers on it, it actually might not be too bad. I'm going to take my light Calypso Coral again. if I can find you. The one that was running out. Where are you? There you are. Okay, we're going to take that and we're going to try to fix my color a little bit. And that, make it more like this one again. Boy, I'm making a big mess on this. Yeah, it's unique. I am going to say it's unique. Uniquely bad. I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo and just see if I'm going to prefer to do another one starting all over, and I am. You know, this is, I don't know. I could make this work if I had to, but I don't have to. So why am I fussing with it? I don't need to do that. We're going to restamp. I'm going again and pretending that didn't happen at all. And those, I'm going to leave out as a reminder to myself that I have got to get some Calypso Coral ink. I'm going to cut those out and put them up in front of my desk so I don't forget to purchase another Calypso Coral. Okay, so we're going to do that one, and I'm going to do 2 birdhouses. This one actually didn't turn out as bad as this one. So I'm going to salvage that one, and we're going to toss that one. And they're going to be different colors. One different from the inside. They don't have to be the same. So they're not going to be. And I'll do the same roof color because I'm still going to want to stick to the flirty, or the Night of Navy color. But I just, that was not, it's just never going to really work. Now, this color is not bad for my robin's little belly, though. If I do want to do a robin's belly, it's not bad. We'll think about it. All right, Petal Pink. No, not that. Flirty Flamingo. That's what I'm doing. Dark Flirty Flamingo. We're going to go. I'm a little worried about my pens. I do have more Flirty Flamingos. So but I'm a little concerned about my pens. Maybe it's my fan overhead. I don't know. Something's kind of drying it out here as I go. I normally don't color huge areas like this with my pens either. That might be part of my problem. This is better, much better. Okay. Then we're going to take light Calypso Coral. I think we have enough of it to do the edge here. It's not a lot, but I think we have enough. Kind of just lightening that up a little. Let's go with the dark Calypso Coral. There you are. Now this one's really dark though, so let's take it easy. I'm not going to go down the side because it's going to be way too dark. But we are going to do the centers like that. Okay, and then dark Flirty Flamingo again. We're going to try to cut that kind of mixed in, and you can see it's doing it much nicer now. That's the way the edge is supposed to look. Much better.
There. Oh, much, much better. I'm much happier about that. Okay, nice and smooth. And then we can get this blended in there too. When your pens are filled with ink, that washes nicely. Very good. Oh, much, much better. So you can see how you've got your darker edge here. You can have a bit of extra darkness there and there and there. Okay, and this is, I'm just going over it just to darken it up a bit with dark Flirty Flamingo. Since I did not have my Calypso Coral functional, and we're going to use this one. I don't really, let's see if you can fix this at all. I doubt that you can. Usually it's pretty much wasted if you've worked it and it's not working. Well, it's probably not going to work, period. Yeah, that's not doing anything. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. Now let's cut everything out. We are done with that. I'll get this stuff out again to color our little birds here in a minute. But right now, I'm just glad I got those birdhouses colored. Now you can cut them out. I could have just stamped them and saved all of that trouble by stamping them right on my Petal Pink. And I was toying with that idea and then didn't do it. So I probably should have. Now in retrospect, it's always easy to know what you should have done. And let's grab my cutting machine up here. Get my glasses. And we're going to do Night of Navy. And I just need a little bit. I bet you I've got a scrap of Night of Navy. Let's look in my scraps. I bet you I have got a bunch of Night of Navy. That's the kind of thing I always have. I have tons of scraps. And let's scrap this one. And the roof line. Now we've actually got two roof lines. Now because of my color issue, I might want to use Calypso Coral with a roof line as well. I don't think that's wide enough though. I'd have to grab another whole piece. All right, well, we won't worry about it. Let's just do these. There is a nice little bird stand, but I'm finding that this bird house is so big that it's hard to fit the stand on with the, unless you're doing an oversized card, it's pretty tough to do that. All right, so there's my little roof. And I think I do want to find that one. And do it with Calypso Coral. Let me see if I've got a Calypso Coral scrap. Wow, I don't. I have to use a whole big sheet for it. Let's just take just a bit of this off. I don't need that much. Okay, we'll do one of those. And let's do two of those. Because I'm thinking my colors, I need something to connect it more to the actual card since my Calypso Coral pen was dead. I don't think that's ever happened to me before. I always buy a ton of those Ding-a-ling pens. So I don't think that's ever happened to me before, to go into my stash of pens. I must have given it away. I do at times. So if I think people haven't tried them, I will give them away so that they can see how wonderful they are, because they really are nice. If you haven't done the alcohol blending pens and you don't think you can color, then it's because you haven't tried the alcohol blending pens. They are like super easy. Oh, I need to cut out those birdhouses before we get... Now that one we're not cutting out. I don't want that one. I still think I can salvage it. I'm not going to throw it away, but you're not going to have to see me struggling with it. All right, so these dies, you, again, 40% off. I bet the birdhouse one, I hope it's still available. It's ones like this that are just going to go like super, super fast. So, if it isn't available, I am so sorry you missed it. The wind's picking up, and every time it rains a ton, it's kind of nice to have the breeze. So when Jeff and I are sitting out on the porch, there's always this wonderful breeze, and it's very pleasant. But it's gonna dry out the soil faster. Like dries out those plants, they suck up the moisture more. Like right now, I don't want to have to be out there watering. So every time it rains, that's another probably 2 or 3 days I won't have to water. It's wonderful. But then if the wind comes, come on. We were delighted not to have all of that wind when we moved here. And okay, isn't that pretty? I love this color with this. You know, so I have noticed for myself that I really like there to be no white on this at all. So I have been doing just a bit of trimming on the edge so that my little birdhouse does not have a white edge, even on the roof. Since I'm adding those other roof pieces, I can kind of trim quite a bit of this off. That can be hidden, but the sides, yeah, I don't want any white. Now, if I'd cut it out, not stamped it, and just cut it out of the cardstock color I wanted, I wouldn't have to worry about this trim at all. But you would have had to have cut out, you know, an alternate color for both these. And that die that I showed you has both of those, you know, in the one die. It actually comes with this little circle one that you can do it individually, but it also cuts out the bigger one and the little one like a donut, so you can get it in one pass if you want to do that. All right, so we'll put the roof on first. That would be this one. Okay, and this one. And then we'll put on the little gingerbread edge. Oh boy, my fingers are already glued thoroughly there. Okay, make sure it's not too sticky. All right, now we'll get the little gingerbread. So I'm just putting a little dot of glue there. So cute. Oops. Pull it down there. Don't let it stick. If you get glue on your board. These glass mats are back, so you can order the glass mat. I think it might actually be in the pre-order right now. So you could order the glass mat right now if you're a demonstrator. All the more reason you want to be a demonstrator so that you get to order things early. The glass mat, when it does get available to you, you're gonna want to order it right away if you want it. It's gonna sell out right off, I know. Okay, now we're gonna do just a little bit of glue here. To get our Calypso Coral piece in there. And if I'd wanted to, I could have raised any of these, of course, with the dimensional, but I'm gonna stick with the glue for ease. Oops, I don't want you up there. Cute. Get my glue off there. Okay. Get my glue out of there. All right, now, if there's any parts that you see that you don't want to see that are white, just clip it out. Sometimes there's little hanger-oners there. There we go. And then our tray. The tray, you definitely might want to put a dimensional on. It's going to raise that up and make it look like the tray. So if you don't care about having some extra dimension to your card, it's sure not going to hurt. Let's do this. Put our dimensionals on here. You know, I'm kind of liking how dark that turned out after all. Not the other one. But that one's not bad. I kind of like it. And this one. Where's my other tray? There you are. If this was red, white, and blue, this would be really good for 4th of July. I might do that. That'd be cute. And you could do like do you remember we had, it's still in there, Light the Sky it's called. It's a fireworks stamp. Light the Sky would be really pretty behind this for 4th of July. Okay, so we're going to put one of these. Let me dry off my board. Make sure that's dry. And then, let's see, we're going to put one of these on the front and one of these on the inside. I'm really not liking my Flirty Flamingo one with this. But I'm going to have to live with it. So we'll put the Flirty Flamingo on this front bit because this is the part that's going to be the most hidden, I suppose. I really did want to have this on here, so maybe I don't want to cover up my dots, but I'm gonna cover up the dots. So we're going to put our sentiment here, and what do we have? This one's got a bunch of stuff, but you know what I am going to use instead? Grateful Blessing. Now this is a really good one. How about the You Are Loved? Isn't that cute? We're going to do that one. And I think it'll fit right on there. We'll do that with Night of Navy. Very pretty. Now this Grateful Blessings has some really nice little stems, little flower stems too. So just a heads up on that. Let's see if we do it like this. Might do that. I don't know. I'm still thinking here how I want to do this. Okay. This one's going to be raised, so I'm going to just glue this on here. Like that. And then this one we want to have dimensionals on it. Well, Jeff and I haven't been to any of the antique stores in a while. We're going to have to get out there and do that. In fact, maybe today. Today might be a good day to do it. Apparently there's some Southern etiquette for antique stores. Have you ever heard about that? Southern etiquette? I saw it in my Southern Living magazine a while ago. So one of the things is to give shoppers space. Have you ever gone into the antique space and then the one, of course, that you want to look at, like everybody suddenly wants to look at that one? Well, you're not supposed to rush people. Which is what we sometimes do. I'm going to tie the bow so I can kind of see where to put my little birds. Let's see, if you want to have your bow over here, it might be easier. Maybe. All right. Because we're going to want one. I'm going to want one there. I might have to put them up here. You can, if you're doing like a little cork in there, you can do, we do have little, do we still have those little cork dots? They were little cork dots. I bet you I still have them in here. I didn't use, I bought them and then didn't end up using a ton of them. Boy, I'm not seeing them. But that's what I wanted, those little cork dots. Maybe if they're current, they're here in, aha, there they are. So they come in a variety of sizes, and the littlest one is actually, or the next to the littlest one maybe, is the perfect size here for this. The little cork die spots. Cute. It looks like the little sticks sticking out there. They are adhesive backed cork, cork rounds. I don't know if they're still available. And the die does cut these out. So let's go ahead and color. I don't know. I might stick with that one. I might not. We'll think about it. But let's go with our find my ivory and bronze and pecan pie. Oh, or crumb cake. Oh, crumb cake, you might work good. Let's see. I'm looking for ivory and brown. Where are you? I see ivory. There you are. Let's do bronze first. That's nice. Okay, we're going to do that. Just to get a little bit of brown right off into that bird. And then ivory. Let's do our do our light Calypso coral for our, oh, I forgot, this is the one I'm running out of. Get his little belly colored so that it matches our card. Come all the way up. Let's do these two while I've got them out. This is my light Calypso coral. When I'm not coloring a big area, it looks like it's working pretty good. All right, and then bronze for the little wings. And the tail feathers. Okay, and then we're going to just use ivory to kind of wash all of that together. This is why Stampin' Up! Sells these in a pair, so that you are getting the ones that are going to blend together well. Light and dark of the color, of course, is going to blend, but ivory and bronze, the ivory really does wash this bronze out nicely. So it blends, and it does go really well with our Calypso coral too. Trying not to get the white of the eye. If you can leave that white, that's best. And then little robins, they've got little yellow feet, don't they? Or orange, little orange feet. We'll get our pumpkin pie out for their little orange feet. This is a marker. So with your tiny, tiny things to cover, you want to use a marker. Okay, they are done. Now all we need to do is cut those out, and then let's attach this to the inside here like this, and then that's going to just sit up there very nicely. It's very, very dark. I think I might want a round, you know, a sentiment around that. It's just so dark. I don't know, maybe I don't need to, but it does seem kind of dark anyway. We'll go ahead and just attach it, because I'm probably not going to do that just because of time's sake. There we go. Okay, so you've got that glued on there. I'm going to set that aside for a minute just so that we can cut out our birds and get that done. So the other Southern etiquette. The Southern etiquette for going to an antique store. There's only one bird in the die thing, so it'll take me a minute to... Oh, and I forgot with the... I'm going to just fussy cut out my mirrored ones because it'll take me too long to arrange the die perfectly, because I'm going to have to think about whether I want to actually mark it or just kind of try to see it or what. Because when I do a mirrored image on these dies, sometimes what I will do is you can cut it out this way, but it's a little bit scary to do that because you can cut off your image really easily. So I think I might just fussy cut it. These are pretty tiny. If it's a bigger, broader, bigger thing, it's easier, but... one of my cards, I didn't use these birds. I found my birds from a winter set that we had a while ago. And I just used those. but you can actually just fussy cut. Pretty easy. As long as you're not doing too many. If I were doing a bunch of these, I would definitely be using the die. Or I'd be doing this for a long time while watching TV in the evening. Sometimes I do that. Not often, but sometimes. The other thing in the antique store that is a rule is to keep it quiet. It is. It's very quiet in there. I mean, they have their music going, which because it's an antique store is usually some good goldie oldie. And depending on how old the person at the desk that's getting the music, it can be good oldie or not so good oldie. Because old is only as old as you are. So sometimes, most of the shops we go in, it's good. It's the 50s or the 60s. Maybe the 70s, but not likely. Now that's golden oldie. Jeff likes the 70s. I'm only so much of that. So you can put one little bird up here. Isn't he cute? So cute. Put one right there, and then we can put the mirrored one down here. Okay, we'll put him right on the, we'll put him, where am I gonna put him? I'm gonna take my dimensional off because let's put him on this one. I need a mini dimensional for this one, or a part of a dimensional, because I want him to stick right on the side here. Right, like that. Okay, so that's going to be on the inside. This one's going to be on the outside. I might put you like, I forgot my ribbon's got to go here. So this is the one. We'll put this one here. Now we'll put this one like maybe here. And we're going to put this one here. Okay, now you've got all these wonderful flowers. And there's also flowers, you know, for in the Country Flowers set. If you buy like everything in this suite, there's also something called Country Flowers. Let me put my blessings away. What did I put on here? I put You Are Loved, and then we'll do You're Such a Blessing. That's what's going to be propping open this. So I'm gonna just take the back side of this, even though I colored it. That probably won't work. Let me grab another. Let's see if my petal pink will work. It will. Let's grab a piece of petal pink. A little scrap of petal pink. And we're going to stamp with Calypso Coral the You're a Blessing. You're such a blessing. I think it's going to be big enough and not too big. Okay, Calypso Coral. Okay. And the dies. We don't want the spotlight ones for this. We need something oblong. our country corners. These are our country corners, and this is my celebration dies, which are dotted. These do nest, but there's a pretty big edge to them. Let's see if that will work. It will. Let's see if it'll work here, and it will. Okay, so we're going to cut this out with the country blessings, or country corners is what that one is. Or is it countryside corners? Is it country corners or countryside corners? I can't remember. I'd really like to have a Night of Navy edge to this, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit that on here. Maybe though. Let's try it. So we'll do a border with Night of Navy, and this is the next size up. I think that's going to be way too big. Let's look here, like way too big. Yeah, that'll be there. Well, not too bad. It's a little on the big side. We'll just make it work. Because I don't think my, that's pretty wide too. I don't have any better option there. Night of Navy. I thought I had a bunch of Night of Navy in here. Yes, I do. And my scraps. I use that color a lot. It's one of, I'm glad they moved that one to a neutral. You're supposed to avoid bringing small children to an antique store. That's also an unspoken rule. Children don't really like antique stores, but that's not really true here. And because they almost always have toys for sale in there. Now, the thing about bringing children is that they're going to want to play with those toys. And unless you're purchasing them, that's not such a great plan. Because sometimes they won't survive that playing with very well. And there's nothing more annoying than to go in and go to buy some toy like that and then discover that some kids have been playing with it and they ruined it. And then the people didn't buy it, they just left it. They might not have even known it was ruined because they were looking at something somewhere else. Now you do need to prop this up pretty big, you know, just to make sure it's gonna stand up there pretty good. So let's take the dimensionals and see if one layer is enough. Sometimes one layer is enough, sometimes it's not. Yeah, before I stick it on there, let's see if one layer is going to be enough. It might. Usually it is, but sometimes I do a double layer depending on if my card's really super layered up or not. The front has got some dimensionals, so I don't really want this to be too. There we go. So now your card stands up really nicely. Isn't that cute? Oops. There you go. Well, it does if I'm not tipping it. Stands up really nicely. And then it just folds down. You can add another sentiment to the top. You can do your flowers. I'm running out of time, so I'm sort of rushing along here trying to finish this. But that's how I did this little easel. It's so cute. I really like little bird cards. They're too fun to send to our family. This will be a really good one to do that with. Okay, not bad. It's a little wonky, but not too terrible. Scissors. There we go. There and there. All right, now, almost done. Now for these little flowers, they have got the stamped ones, and you could have stamped those on there. But they actually do have a couple of just little, you know, little ones like this. And if you want to, you can always cut some of those out. Let's do them with my scrap of Petal Pink that we've got left over. Okay, we'll just see what we can do here with these little Petal Pink. Just a few little flowers that are the dies that come with this. There's also little, let me show you. There's this little edge that is so perfect on your cards. This is like a little wood grain that you can add. I could have added it to that other one and it would have helped fix it a little. There's this little, you know, just little filigree, the dots. I mean, seriously, this is a great set. If you're starting out and you don't want to buy a ton of stuff, this is a really good basic set that can give you a bunch of really cool things. Gives you birthday card, a friend card. I hope you have the best day ever kind of card is a very good general one. I'm trying to get these off. They're stuck on there pretty good. And then if we just color these a little bit, they're going to be set and ready to go. More dies in there. And you've got your, can make these a little bit darker if you want. Okay, you can also do Night of Navy, but I think we would want to go, not Night of Navy, but let's do Boho Blue or Misty Moonlight. I'm going to color on here just so I don't color my board. I don't really want to color the board particularly. Okay. Maybe this little one. Cute. And this one. And then you've got your center. You can do bright orange if you want to, or yellow. It's Petal Pink that we're coloring on, so it would do either one just fine. There's Dark Pumpkin Pie. And my ivory. There we go. The ivory just sort of smoothed those colors out a little bit. Where's the other one? I thought there were 4. I lost one somewhere. Oh well. So now you can put your little flowers on here. Some people like to put them on what do they put them on? The birdhouse itself. You could put it on your ribbon. You can put it on the inside. If I find the other flower, I can use it as well. There it is. It went there. So cute. You can put it on the tray. I mean, they're so cute. Then you can put little, you know, gems in the center.
Oh, there's just so many things you can do with this set. It's so cute. Don't you love it? I hope you have this one. And if you do, again, take advantage of that sale that's going on because it's going to be to the end of June. And then everything is going to be the bundles will be just 10% off instead of your 20% off. And it's a good deal. You don't want to miss it. And have a wonderful week. I hope you have a beautiful day like I do today. So nice out there. So if you do, go out and take a walk. Enjoy nature. Enjoy the birds. They are fun to watch. They're so fun. Jeff's going to have to fill our bird feeders later, but this is the last fill for a little while. The grackles keep coming in and taking it all right away. They've been bad, been very naughty. Have a wonderful time, and I will see you next week. Bye.